Excellent!
What's up guys, Paul here, and today's video is a quick one about 5 power supply sleeving snafus. Power supply sleeving snafus, that's right. This video is pretty much unplanned. The reason being I'm in the midst of this power supply sleeving project behind me, and I came to today and I was like, I'm either going to do a video or I'm not going to do a video. And since this isn't finished, this is kind of the in-between. So I want to explain to you guys a little bit of this ongoing project behind me, some of the problems I've encountered, and some of the ways maybe you guys can get around them if you encounter them yourselves. So there in the back is the Arctic Panther. This is my ongoing project to sleeve the power supply and the other cables within the case. As you can see, everything's in chaos on the table right now. I have been recording this using my camera up there and via a little bit of time lapse. Yes, I'm out in the living room, but hopefully this will be like the last project that I have to like commandeer the kitchen table for, because over in the garage, which is back the other direction, I'm getting some air conditioner. I do have a guy coming out this week to do air conditioning. At least he's going to do an estimate and hopefully get that installed really quick. And then I have a big project out there to like remodel the whole thing, and I will be documenting that as well. But on to what this video is actually about, which is the SNAFUs, and you guys can look up what that stands for if you aren't a military person. Let's start off with SNAFU number 1, which is the choice of power supply. Now this is the Fractal Design Newton 1000 watt. And it's a very good power supply. It's 80 plus platinum rated and 1000 watts and all that good stuff. However, there are some drawbacks to my choice of this as my power supply for this build. Primarily being that it's not 100% modular, so that means I am going to be sleeving these power supplies coming out of this, and this is the part of this project I've been kind of putting off till last. I'm also going to need to probably mod this gap right here in order to make it wider, so that with the sleeving on all these individual cables there, which there's about, I think, 50 of 48 or so that I need to sleeve directly coming out of the power supply. That's going to be a bit of a job. Now there are some modular connectors down here that you can hopefully see there, and that's what I've been working on so far. So back over there you can see some of the work that I've done, including the one like kind of successful sleeving job that I did right here, which is one of my 8 pins. Granted, they haven't been trained and set to go how they should, but this one turned out pretty nice. So the sleeving itself has been turning out pretty well, but that doesn't mean that I'm not encountering setbacks. So yeah, setback number 1, again, choice of power supply. If you are doing this, I might recommend going for a fully modular power supply. That way you can just sleeve the modular cables and not have to worry about the stuff coming out. But if we want to do a full-on job on this, we're still going to do that all the way, but it's just going to take a bit more time. Here's SNAFU number 2, right? So here's one of the cables that I sleeved. This is one of the, this is one of the peg connector cables. You might notice it's got one connector on one end and 2 connectors on the other. Now since I'm using all of the existing cables from the power supply, I am not like sleeving my own brand new cables. So my intent was to reuse all of the cabling that came with the power supply, but I did what I shouldn't have done. Mangled one of the ATX connector pins, kind of smushed it first, and then I tried to bend it back straight, and then it broke. So you can see this one on top there that's how it should be. One on bottom there, that one's broken. Now since I broke that, and I didn't have the right tools in order to fix it, and this is one of the cables that goes from 1 to 2, I was kind of screwed over for the time being. But I have found a way around that, which I'll get to in just a moment here. And the way around that is to acquire some more tools. So this is SNAFU number 3, which is that you realize you don't have quite all the tools you need. Now, a lot of my hardware and stuff has been provided by Mainframe Customs. They did all the sleeving, sent over the sleeving and all that good stuff. And they sent over some of the tools I've been using, including ATX pin remover, as well as this nice little pair of wire cutters. What I needed to borrow, and this is from Kyle, is the actual ATX pin crimper right there, because I got to crimp some pins. If you guys didn't already catch Kyle's video on sleeving cable extensions, check that out. He did a really good tutorial on it. But I'm going to need this to reapply at least that one pin to the cable. He also gave me the rest of his gear, which includes a Molex pin remover, which I don't have, some more heat shrink, which I'm okay with, as well as the actual pins themselves. So I'm going to need to replace the pin, the broken pin over here from that cable, and hopefully get that cable up and running again. The other tools or gear or whatever that I realized I might need, one of them is right here. I wanted some paint, so I went and picked that up. I also needed a soldering iron, which I'll come back to in just a moment. But the reason I needed the paint is because when you're sleeving cables and they're brightly colored like this, they will shine through, especially if you're using white sleeving. So I'm actually going to be spray painting all of the cables from this black once I get them unsleeved so that it looks nicer, and hopefully that will keep things looking nice. And then finally, tool-wise, I also decided that I probably need a soldering iron for a job that I have coming up, specifically to deal with 2 cables going into 1 cable, like that one I showed you already sleeved. But I'm going to deal with the upcoming ones in a different fashion, using some tips from Mike Landenberger, aka Lutro Customs, because he has a bunch of really good tutorials, very long and in-depth tutorials on his YouTube channel. So using that, I'm going to be using the soldering iron in order to splice together double wires into single wires. And here's snafu number 4, which is that I wasn't really planning on doing any soldering with this particular project, but now I've realized I needed to. The specific reason is because since I'm using the actual cables coming from the power supply and not extensions, some of these cables have 2 pins going into the same plug. So like you can tell right there with those 2 orange ones on the bottom, that is very difficult to sleeve, and even if I did sleeve it right up to the connector here, it would not look good. So in order to do this proper, I'm going to have to splice those wires somewhere along the chain here, and that involves a little bit of soldering and some precise cutting of the sleeving around the wire, the existing plastic sleeving around the wire, in order to get it to work properly, and we'll see how that goes, because my soldering skills are not all that good. That's snafu number 4, wasn't expecting to need a soldering iron. And snafu number 5, just because, you know, lists of 5 are good, is time. That is right. If you can't already tell, I've been working on this for a few different days. Granted, I haven't been working on them all day, every day, or anything like that, but I have already invested a fair amount of time in this. It's been a learning process since I haven't really done this before, and since I'm hoping to give you guys at least a little bit of a tutorial on how I'm doing this and the techniques I'm using, it's involved a lot of filming, a lot of trial and error, and a lot of just kind of preparing for the worst or dealing with issues that come up. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little video on the snafus that can arise while you're doing cable sleeving. I know it's been kind of short and rough and all that good stuff, but I am working. I'm doing lots of footage and stuff, and I will have some more videos coming very soon, hopefully finishing up the Arctic Panther ASAP, and then also moving on to that garage project, which I think you guys will be excited about. I am definitely excited about it because it's been a long time coming. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, check out my t-shirt store if you want to buy some shirts, and we'll see you all in the next video.